TV, Nairobi.
Let's turn to education now. And Cabinet Secretary Migos Ogamba now says the Education Ministry is on its knees over continued underfunding from the exchequer. Appearing before the Julius Melly-led Education Committee, the Education CS says schools are choking in debts of up to 64 billion shillings that have accumulated over the years. Stephen Leto reports on questions from MPs who are demanding that the government comes clear on whether or not education in Kenya is indeed free or not.
They don't have the arrears.
Education Cabinet Secretary Migos Ogamba appeared before the National Assembly's Education Committee to present glaring concerns over schools' underfunding, late disbursements of funds and delayed capitation, which has continuously threatened to paralyze learning in schools. The Education CS told the MPs that the education sector is drowning in underfunding from the exchequer, posing a great risk to the quality of education in the country.
As it is, and in view of the provisions of the Constitution, it is going to be difficult to offer quality education or if we do not get a solution to the continuous and persistent underfunding of the sector.
All this is something that we need to sit down and have a conference on how to fund education in this country, because it's a very serious issue. It has run all the way from 2013 when we came to this house.
According to the ministry, schools are still not getting what is due to them, with only 50% having been disbursed this financial year. Second month into term 2 of the year, the ministry disbursed 28.8 billion shillings for 3.2 million learners, leaving a deficit of 7.2 billion shillings in the financial year. This reality raising questions whether or not education is free.
We are dealing with somebody who looks so helpless. And I'm wondering, Chair, how free is education in Kenya? Yeah, how free is it?
On the issue of how free is education, the short answer to that is that education is free in Kenya.
We have to sit down, and this is going to be a constitutional issue, that education is free and compulsory. We need to look at it as Kenyans.
Junior secondary schools are similarly underfunded, receiving half of the 15,043 shillings allocated annually per learner. The constant underfunding making members of the committee, led by Julius Melly, to question whether the country will sustain the free education policy.
How do you expect this principal to run the school? And those children are already there. They have the students in schools. They have pupils in school. So how are they going to run the schools? How free is education in Kenya?
When we come and we say we need X amount to deal with our sector, then you tell us, no, we can't give you that. We are only going to give you this. So we have to work with what you give us. So we are in this together.
Public primary and secondary schools are choking in debts, with the Education Ministry telling the lawmakers that they have debts of up to 64 billion shillings that have accumulated over the years.
It is not something that I can today say that I'll be able to sort out the 64 billion pending bill to the schools. In fact, my main challenge is to see whether we can be able to receive in full, first and foremost, what we are entitled to deal with the current students that we have.
When the CS comes and says we help him to address a pending bill, which his own PS said there's nothing like that. It does not exist. When a financial year closes, that is closed.
The biggest problem is when you tell people things are free and then the law says they're free, and therefore we cannot go to them because Kenyans are now highly enlightened.
Committee members also raised issues with a huge amount of funds meant for capitation that remains at the ministry. For example, every learner is supposed to get 76 shillings for activities in primary schools, yet 40 shillings remain at the Ministry of Education. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.